All right, we've all heard the phrase thoughts and prayers going out to anyone that actually needs money. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I was driving home after meeting my boss, which I mentioned in a short, all the way about 20 miles out in the middle of nowhere, East Valley, where the rich people live, of course. And as I was driving back, I got to McClintock and Southern, and I was standing in traffic way back because I don't know why Southern's always so busy on the weekends. But I could see two men. And at first, all I could see was their 2 feet, and one of them wasn't wearing shoes, and the other guy was, I'm going to say, some sort of Middle Eastern person. And so, as I got closer and closer, I could see that his hand was on his forehead and his arm was out, like doing some sort of religious thing to him. And the homeless guy's just looking bizarre, right? He's been standing out in the sun for a few hours. I didn't see any water nearby. But this guy's like just standing there, like, what's this weirdo doing to me? And after that, I washed my car like I always do. And then I went into Sprouts. I bought some meat, and this is one of my biggest pet peeves in the world. When the register asks you to donate, it's not a person, it's not the cashier, it's not anyone, it's a message before you make your purchase. It's guilt tripping you into believing that your 5, 10, $20 donation, however much you want to give the register, is going to make a difference. And a relief for the Middle East, relief for the Ukraine, relief for the disaster victims, relief for schools disasters, relief for the homeless, relief for a children's hospital. It seems like everyone needs money, but where's the money I need? Where's the American relief program because of inflation, high cost of rent, and food prices that are destroying the proletariat? Where's that relief? Why do they expect us instead of Evil Corp that does have money? Evil Corps have trillions of dollars. They don't need all that money. They could easily give to everyone, but instead, no. They shift the responsibility, and when any political figure goes on television, all we can ever do is thoughts and prayers. I'm tired of thoughts and prayers. There are a lot of little kids that would still be here if we did more than thoughts and prayers for everyone. Change the laws. Do something. Don't shift the responsibility onto poor people and then say people aren't generous enough. I don't tip anymore. I stop tipping when I see a cashier that has a tip on it. I just hit no. I've gotten so used to hitting no on everything, and I don't feel bad anymore. Because if Evil Corp wants to hire someone for the minimum wage and then put a tip jar in front of them, that's on Evil Corp because they know exactly what they're doing. We know what you make when you're working a cash register. We know what you make when you're working in a grocery store. We know what you make when you're working in any bottom level job. You're making the minimum wage plus a dollar or two. Hell, some of these minimum wage people make almost $20 an hour, and it's nothing. All right, so I have 5 talking points. I'm going to get through all of them because they're all very important. This is what I'm going to be talking about: the failure of government, shifting responsibility to citizens, corporate exploitation of charity, the impact on everyday Americans, and the need for systemic change. All very powerful topics, all worth their own video, in my opinion, if I had that kind of time. But right now I have a very busy afternoon. I gotta make this video, gotta take a shower, gotta get to the gym, then I gotta go back to work and test out a bunch of equipment, then put that equipment into my car, bring it home, and then work on another video. After that, well, I got a hot date with Pearl Beer. All right, so let's get into it. So, first talking point is the bureaucrat. My God, this word always gets me in these videos. The bureaucratic red tape often leaves communities waiting for relief while their homes and lives remain in ruin. We don't take into consideration the homeless when we think about people who are needing desperate federal agencies to help them. Not just homeless people, homeless families. California, Oregon, Washington, they've got hundreds of thousands of people that need help right now. But because it's them, people who have no value whatsoever, they're not working. They're not doing anything. They're dope fiends, right? We shift the responsibility onto them. They're not productive members of society. When you fall on hard times, there is no federal agency that's going to come help you. It is expensive to help them. They need food, they need water, they need shelter. They're basically the proletariat without jobs. The proletariat needs help right now very badly. Instead, what are we doing? Sending money overseas so that people can be murked overseas with the money that we need badly here. We need to stop investing into space programs, stop investing into corporations. Corporate welfare needs to go away, and the corporations need to be taken off of it, like life support. If you can't survive without federal government money as a corporation, you shouldn't exist. That's simple. It's business. It's what they would tell you, right? It's the equivalent of telling poor people who can't afford a house, a car, or to live to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And remember, be a man. A person who can't afford to be rich, be a man. I mean, Gen Z says this to me all the time in the office. Millennials team, be a man. Face your problems head first. I'm like, okay, how exactly am I supposed to talk my way out of poverty? Be a man. Like, this is stupid. This is this is exactly what they tell poor people. Be a man. Even if you're a woman, stop being a woman. Be a man. Stand up for yourself. Pull your bootstraps up. You know, take a shower. I don't know. Get a girlfriend. Stop being a loser. I have a coworker who says that all the time. Stop being a loser. Start being a winner, America. Don't rely on government money to be a winner, because guess what? It's never going to show up. And because a lot of being wealthy, a lot of being well off, living where I was just at in my car in the East Valley, that's a lot of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. In fact, you're going to be pulling yourself up by your skin of the bottom of your feet. That's how badly you're going to be pulling yourself up. I have no idea what that means, but I felt like saying it. Remember, I don't script these things. I just say, if you come to this channel and this is your first time watching this channel, this is a comedy channel. I say crazy things to get reactions. This is not a serious channel. Please don't come here and take this seriously. I say crazy things for views on YouTube. That's what this channel is. I'm the equivalent of Alex Jones, except not as crazy, and I'm okay with the frogs wanting to be with whomever they want. All right, moving on to talking point number 2. Donation campaigns makes people who are already struggling financially feel obligated to contribute, while larger institutions fail to step up. The guilty look on your face when you go to the gas station and you buy, let's say for craps and giggles, you're buying some smokes. The cashier looks at you. They look at the tip jar. Then they look at you again. This happens to me all the time when I would go to the, what am I call it? The Devil's Lettuce grocery store. It's all cash. Well, kind of. They're pretty shady. You can't use credit cards to buy lottery tickets or the Devil's Lettuce anymore. Let's just put it that way. So it's debit or cash. And the person just looks at you when you're done with your transaction. Do you really need those extra $3, Millennials team, or are you going to put them in the jar? Because I just gave you the Devil's Lettuce. You owe me. In fact, this owe me thing is such a big part of our society. In fact, recently I had a female acquaintance tell me that she was working out with a guy, and the guy said, hey, I've been helping you work out. You owe me some pink taco. And instead of being disgusted by this request, she went over to her car in the parking lot. She pulled down her pants. It worked. Good for him, right? I mean, my respect for this person went into the toilet, and I haven't talked to her since. But, sometimes you've got to pull your pants down to your ankles and expect that bad things are going to happen to you. Bad things happen to me. 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, I'm going to get fleeced. We all know it. It's just part of life, is feeling fleeced. And these donation campaigns don't make you feel any better. You feel obligated to contribute to pointless things like The Office. When someone has a medical issue, long-term medical issue, and they start asking the employees to donate their own PTO to help out a fellow worker that you've never heard of and you don't care about. But they keep sending the emails that Bob got hurt while on a fabulous vacation in Europe and he needs your help because he's run out of PTO and his family badly needs your PTO. And you just look at him like, Evil Corp, all you have to do is fill in the blank. You don't need to ask us to help you out because you don't need my money to help people. All right. Ooh, I'm starting to get angry. I can feel it. I'm starting to get real angry. All right, moving on to talking point number 3. Many companies use disaster relief efforts for PR. This is one of my biggest pet peeves in the world, when the PR department for like the Red Cross or money for orphaned whales that are suffering from a fire disaster. That's how stupid it is. But the people working in those offices often use your money to get rich. You know what happened with all of the money that was donated to the BLM? The people at the top, they're living fat. The people at the bottom got no change in society. They got fleeced. And that was a lot of money that they donated in order to create systemic change. That was never going to happen. There's a quote that I keep thinking about that I've made a video about on my old channel where that woman comes on the news and she said, "You're lucky what we want isn't revenge." And I was like, oh my God, she really said that. You're lucky what we want isn't revenge. That's the theme of the proletariat. We don't want revenge against rich people. We want a more fair world where there's at least within sight some possibility of receiving comfort in life. If that's through rent, through food, through transportation, we just don't want to be working ourselves in secondary jobs making sub $20 for the rest of our lives. In fact, the toxic positivity today will come back and touch on this point. But coming back to finishing up this particular topic, giving companies money that are going to waste your money and not give it to the slightly charred orphan that barely made it out and that's looking sad in their PR campaign, that's just not me. Talking point where are we? Number 4. Regular people are being asked to support relief efforts when they can barely afford their own expenses. This is so true. Like, I keep asking where the American fund is, but regular people can't keep supporting every single relief program in America. We just can't. Because the relief that we need through lowering prices, increasing wages, decreasing record profits for Kroger's and Walmart and all these retailers that have come out and said that they're doing price gouging. When you walk into the grocery store and it's stressful for you to go to the grocery store because you don't know how much you're going to spend for a ration of 3 days of food. You're going to come out of there and you're going to be touching your rear because you just got fleeced at the grocery store. Everywhere the proletariat goes, Fleece is always standing around somewhere waiting for the opportunity and the moment and the music starts playing in the background, right? Doom, 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 doom. As Fleece grabs your hips and doom, 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 and boom, you've been fleeced again. The gas station. I mean, no one goes to Starbucks anymore. Your lunch, any fast food place, Fleece is there with the music playing, just bumping, and you're just like, not again, Fleece. Evil Corp just took me 3 times before lunch, and now I have to come into this restaurant to buy something to eat because it's cheaper than going to the grocery store. Everywhere you go, you're getting fleeced. It's almost like, you know what? I think I'm just going to sew it closed. I don't know what I'm going to do without my auxiliary hatch being able to be open, but I'd rather sew it closed than let corporate America keep fleecing me because it's getting tiresome. Nothing is changing. Everything is getting worse every single day. You're like, you have such a negative attitude. It's like what my boss says about me. You have an abysmal attitude towards life and work. What's there to look forward to? I'm coming in to be overworked, burnt out, wages aren't going up, this job sucks, it's mindless and repetitive, there's no one to talk to, and all I do is sit in the dark and twiddle my fingers until it's time to go back to work. That's my life. You want me to be happy about that? Of being in the hole in prison? Because that's what it is. I mean, this is the work release program. They let us out for a few hours, and some of us, some lucky bastards out there, find Susie Rottencrotch behind the Taco Bell. But every time I check, she's missing. But I know she's back there because I see big smiles coming from the men that go back there to enjoy, like the that Asian massage place I used to go to. Every time I was walking into it, there'd be some old white man coming out, getting into a Corvette with a Kool-Aid smile on his face, and I'd walk in and be like, "Where's the love?" And they're like, "Not in your, not in your pay bracket, proletariat. You get the regular." And I'm like, "Oh, the regular." Well, it sucks to be poor. Yeah, it does suck to be poor. Anyhow, moving on to our final talking point here, systemic change. This is the one that we really, really need in our society. We need to put Elon Musk on one of those rockets and send him to Mars as quickly as we can. On that same rocket needs to be Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and Bill Gates. Put them all on the rocket that's very phallically shaped, by the way, and send them to Mars so we can be done with these people. Every executive person in America needs to be put on the same rocket. We'll call it Noah's Ark. But instead of saving the animals from the floodwaters, we're saving humanity. When we get rid of rich people, we can finally have the systemic change that we need instead of relying on charity and small donations to fix the world's problems, because nothing is going to fix the world's problems until we get rid of the world's real problems. And that is rich people and their old money. Until we can get these people out of the system, again, on Noah's Ark, that's what we'll spray paint on the outside of the rocket ship, telling them that they'd be much better off on their own planet. Because on their own planet, they can make up their own rules and they can have sort of like a Mad Max style fight for who's going to be the master and who's not going to be the master. Remember that phrase from Mad Max, two men enter? Yeah, that's what we turn their rich people planet into. And on planet Earth, we can start using all of our natural resources for real systemic change that helps the 99% instead of crushing the 99% like grapes underneath the feet of rich people. Because that's what they like to do. They like to dance all day on the grapes. And you know what, frankly? I'm tired of getting my berries crunched by rich people. I need a vacation for my berries. My berries don't need to be turned into wine today. On top of that, I also don't need to get fleeced on my way to work either. So, remember, guys, funny, funny. This is funny. All right, so in toxic positivity, moving on, since the video is reaching 20 minutes right now, you guys should be seeing some drone footage, hopefully, about this point in the video, or something outdoorsy. Like, I decided to put some video in there just to entertain you guys at the end. So, today I did this stupid thing. So, I didn't know what I wanted to talk about in toxic positivity, so I asked ChatGPT this question. When are you too old to work in fast food? And of course, the champion white knight of GPT came back with this politically correct message. Age discrimination laws, such as the Age Discrimination in Employment Act in the United States, makes it possible to exploit your grandpa until you put him into the pine box. So, um, so let's see, where are we? So this ADA in the United States prevents employers from discriminating against older workers based on age. So anyone physically to able and interested can work in fast food regardless of their age. I have seen too many 80-year-olds working in low end jobs. The 80-year-old man working next to their great, great granddaughter at a Kroger's, at a McDonald's, at a Circle K, at a Wendy's. Who knows? They might be even working in places where they shouldn't be, like in fascinations. If there's something where old people shouldn't be, it's definitely not fascinations. If you don't know what that is, you probably shouldn't know anyway. So that's what my thought was. I thought you should be able to reach a certain age where you're not allowed to be exploited anymore. But according to this act, they want to be able to dance on your bones all the way until you make it into the pine box community, which is ironic since I keep seeing these little skeletons on people's cars and I keep thinking, that's the retirement program in America. They're going to reanimate your bones and keep you working for 1,000 years after the flesh is gone. They'll just keep working. They'll use strings and wires and probably little motors to get your bones continually working until they absolutely won't work anymore. And somehow they'll trap your consciousness inside of an AI machine and you will just keep working for eternity. At least that's the way I see retirement in America. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to leave it a like. Remember to leave a comment. Remember to do whatever it is you do on Sunday afternoon that makes you feel bad about the world. Go out there and point at a rich person and tell them, you're the reason I'm poor. They're like, what? Me? No, not me. It's your fault for being worthless. That's why you're poor.